Thank you so much for joining us, Kirstine. We're here to mark your work, Lightning Rod, arriving at the Sainsbury Centre Sculpture Park this week. And I really wanted to talk to you a little bit more about this work. So materiality and the symbolism associated with materials seem really integral to the work Lightning Rod. Could you tell us a little bit about the significance of the bronze in the sculpture and also the Dorset sarsen stones as well?
Sure. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I pay attention to everything that sort of like binds a sculpture, which is, or a piece of art, which has to do with the materiality, the way things are done, how things are done. Now in this case, it's like where it's sourced. And so for me, it's like when I work with materials such as brass or copper, it's like they have different meanings, or they have different uses in our lives. It's like, say, copper is for communication. We use it for telephone lines, for electricity to wire, to translate, to run electricity very fast. It has low frequency. Brass is more like it's a timbre instrument. It has a sound. We use brass when we make music instruments, and bronze. This is a bronze, so it's like for this it has to do with shaping and forming. I mean, bronze has a lot of brass in it, so it still has this resonance, this ability to vibrate, to have sounds. And in this sculpture, I've used the idea of a conch, like a shell, as sort of the metaphor for a dynamic motions. I mean, a shell sort of like turns itself inwards. You can take it up, you find it on the beach. It's like it's left empty, and you can hear the whole ocean inside. So it does have this kind of like it's opening up different dimensions.
So you pose a powerful speculative question through this work. Could you tell us a little bit about that inquiry and how your piece relates to energy potential?
I mean, we are made out of matter. We live in a world of matter, but in reality, the whole planet Earth, and us included, are energy in different densities and different frequencies. I've been very intrigued by our whole idea of technology and our obsessions with technology that have been enhancing over time. And at some point I understood that it's like we can't create anything externally that we don't have inside. It's like so a part of my curiosity is to go back and say, okay, how can we with all the technologies that we ask us to help us going through the world, reaching goals, making us heal, it's like how can we, and where can we find it inside of us as human beings? And so this work is really taken from the grand notion that it's like everything is energy, but just in different densities, and high voltage energy or frequency can crack or burn or destroy things that has a lower density. And so, say for example, you have a lightning and it hits a tree. The lightning has very high voltage energy and it hits a tree with a lower frequency. It's like the tree cracks open. But actually, taken as a metaphor, we can use this knowledge and this skill because we are it. It's like that is us. We have maybe just forgotten, or we are not trained to understand how we can use the energy that we are as tools to actually navigate and release potentials in our own lives. So the idea of catching something that has a very high energy and being the transformer ourselves, to sort of lead open new potential, new mysteries, new directions. It's really what the work is about. And in this way, it's like the shell, the conch that is wheeling about it around itself is really just a metaphor of the human body. A long thread of energies that is like you can follow.
Yeah. So going back to that the significance of the kind of bodily, the somatic experience. In what way is the physical experience of the visitor significant when encountering your work, Lightning Rod?
To me, it's like our bodies is our play toy. I mean, it is, we play in the world through our bodies. We touch things, we hurt ourselves, we wound ourselves, we stumble upon things, life situations, and it's like a lot of, it's like the experience with art is constantly a dialogue between sort of the interpretation, the mind matter, but also the bodily matter. And it's like when you do works in public space, it's very much linked with the space, the 3D orientation. It's like how we move our bodies through a room, or might it be open, might it be closed, but it's like, and how can we climb on it, how can we touch it, how can we experience like a displaced object or a foreign object in a everyday situation. And to me it's just a little reminder. I mean, I learned through my own process that artists really help us to be reminded that we are constantly in this dialogue between different realms, different dimensions, and if we can experience that with our bodies and with our minds, I think this is the exchange art can do, and I enjoy doing it. It's fun for me too.
And what a perfect place, a sculpture park feels like the perfect place to encounter a work that is pulling in all of those different realms.
Definitely, and also the sculpture park, it's a university park, you know, and it's like lots of kids will be hanging out, and lots of young people are in their training process. And for me, it's like, I'm just so happy that this particular work can sort of realize itself here, or it's like contribute to the bodily experience of young people to become. Also because it's like we've been for generations and generations and for thousands of years we've been told how reduced we are as human beings, that we constantly need sort of external sources, external help in order to realize ourselves. And as I said before, I think that we cannot develop or come up or invent things that we don't have inside. So it's like in early days we needed priests to help us to find the way to God, or we need doctors to help us to cure, you know, or now we need our iPhone to find the baker, you know. But hey, 300 years ago a seafarer could cross the Atlantic and look at the stars and find his way. And I'm like, so we have so much hidden technology inside that we have forgotten about. And if we can help each other remember, and by this knowing we can learn to use our bodies and our inner technology as tools and harness this energy in order to be more free and liberated and autonomous as human beings and have more self-confidence. Hey, what's not to like?
So your work Lightning Rod is part of your Earth School project, which explores humanity's place in an ever-shifting and changing world. How does the work fit into that project, and what lessons does the project offer?
I think the Lightning Rod functions as a reminder, as a totem reminder object that we are energy, but our experience in the physical world is very real. And I think for many thousands of years we've been focused on developing the physicality of the world, which I think it's right. It's like it's a part of our evolution. But now we have to sort of like take our hand back and pull out what we have in our rucksack of other knowledge that we can combine with the technology that we have learned, in order to regain power and knowledge about what a human being, what a human being actually created of. I think now technology is is so much on our mind, our screens, and it's almost taking over our control. And to me, it's to find out how can we go in dialogue with our inner technology and the external technology that we have been creating. And to me, it's like it's very essential that human beings start to understand ourselves and what our capacities actually are, and harness the skills that we have, so we can use the interaction between the outer technology and inner technology very, very wisely. Before we start to implement hardware in our bodies, we need to understand the privilege that we have, and the supremacy that we have as human beings with all the skills. Because if we start to implement hardware in a system we don't yet understand, we can end up doing irreversible damage. It's like, and I have a lot of faith in the humankind. So let's explore together. And I think Earth School is exactly this frame for trying to understand what a physicality and a spirituality and a energy capacity can do together in a joint experience.
So in our current age of environmental upheaval, how do you see art contributing to conversations around climate change and sustainability? And what role do you think museums play in fostering positive social change? I mean, art is as we talked, art is a tool for remembering. And I think the social change is evident. The sociality changes all the time. The world is changing all the time. I mean, we are in constant evolution. So art has always played a role to open up, to discuss, to show other ways of like approaching or looking at the world. Right now in our current time, we are faced with enormous amount of conflicts, challenges, and it's true, it's like the whole climate change is very pivotal right now, but I'm not sure that the climate change we see is only in the hands of the humans. We have definitely contributed, and we definitely need to change our behaviors and our attention and our privileges, how we approach the privileges that we have taken. But I also think that planet Earth itself goes through a movement, a change, consciousness jump as well. So I think art can be a part. So in that respect, it's much more about the ability to be flexible, the ability to adapt, the ability to look for new solutions, the ability to question our old methods if they can still apply to the new world, because we are facing a very new world with very new structures, very new sets of logic that we might not even understand yet. So, and for this, I think art might be more important now than it has been for many, many, many thousands of years, where it's a room where you can address things in the best world, where you can address things that is more difficult and more contagious to address in a political environment or in a school environment or in a social environment. So I think that art plays a very important role, but it's also how do we decide to use it? Do we use it as a conflict tool? Do we use it as a discussion tool? Do we use it as a poetry room? I think everything has its own legitimate, but it requires awareness and consciousness, both as a sender and as a receiver, and as a frame, which often is the institution. Yeah. So the Sainsbury Centre tries to be that kind of room where those conversations are happening, and one of the ways that we do that is by asking, by investigating some of life's biggest questions. So, like, what is truth? Why do we take drugs? Or our currencies, and can the seas survive us? And if you had to pose a big question for the Sainsbury Centre to investigate, what would that be?
It's like, how much can we endure? It's like, it is, right now we are all suffering a cancel culture. It has a very contagious political, didactic world picture. It's like, some is for, some is against. It's like, and in big part of the world, it's like institution and artists of all means and matter, like visual artists, writers, dancers, etc., are kept hostage in this for and against, or for or against culture, which is like somehow also turns into a self-canceling, self-censoring culture, which is very, very unhealthy. Taking the idea that art should be free. It's like free but respectful, of course. There should be no subject we cannot discuss, and so that plays a mirror back to the institution. Is like, what is your stand for freedom? How much are you willing to risk in order to be free? It's like, which is difficult because institutions are quite often dependent on financial situation, fundraising, etc. It's like, but at some point every institution would need to take a stand. And what is more important, is my financial situation important, or is my fight for the right to discuss things in order to be free, in order to have an open conversation where we can actually show the democracy that we are standing up for. So my question to the Sainsbury Centre is like, I don't know if it can be phrased in one question, but what's your stance on freedom, and how much can you endure to follow the stance?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, a really rich, vast question. Yeah, I agree.
But I guess whether it's an institution or whether it's a group, a nation, or a very personal, individual matter, I think it's a question we all have to relate to, because it's like the big decisions are taken by the thousands, and it's like, so it is a very pivotal time when it comes to how brave we are, and how high do we allow our vantage point to be viewed from.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. It's been amazing hearing more about your work, and I can't wait for everyone to see Lightning Rod in the Sculpture Park. Thank you.
Thank you.